What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a very special live episode of Did I Fix? If you guys are unfamiliar with this show, our viewers tend to give me like older movies that are maybe bad or some things like that, or just forgotten gems, stuff like that, that they think maybe could use a fix. They throw it my way, I watch it, and then I provide what, maybe some fixes that I would have for it. It's all done in fun. It's a good time. And today we're going to go real special with it. We are going to watch. Well, we're not going to watch anything. We're getting ready to watch the Marvels tomorrow. So I figured while we're getting into this, I want to talk about the MCU and everything that's been going on. I brought on a very special guest with me tonight. He is my co-pilot, if you will. I guess that's the best term for it, on the podcast Warp Factor Fiction. It's a Star Trek rewatch podcast. It goes out to our Patreon every month. We are on a bit of a hiatus right now. We're going to be starting up again in the new year with the original series. But what we do is we rewatch Star Trek in chronological order all the way through. That's right. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. But let me bring him on. And that is my cohort tonight and co-host from War Factor Fiction, Tommy. What's going on, buddy?
Hello. I am doing good. I'm excited to be on this show today.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you
We've
for
been
having
talking
me.
about the MCU quite a bit. And
Yeah.
everything going on right now with the MCU. And I want to thank you for joining me. Again, everybody, you can check Tommy and I out. He is my co-host on the Star Trek rewatch podcast that we do called Warp Factor Fiction. We're watching it in chronological order. You can go back, check out all the old episodes now. It goes out to Patreon first, and then it will end up out everywhere you will listen to podcasts or on the YouTube channel. So you got to hit like, follow, subscribe, so you know. So the cool part about this is we're big MCU guys. We love it. But we have been feeling it a little bit lately, I think, with some fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some things didn't kind of maybe just weren't for us. I don't know. I don't want to say anything's bad, but some people tend to resonate towards things that maybe I didn't resonate towards. What about you? What do you think about the current state with Phase 4, Phase 5 of the MCU?
I don't think it's good. I feel like the last part that really worked was Loki, and they ended that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's really much more to build off of.
Well, what were
Now,
some of the ones that you would think through this Phase 4 into Phase 5 were misses for you?
Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't love it. I feel
Okay.
like it was definitely worse. It's the worst Thor movie. It was much worse than Ragnarok. Ragnarok was amazing.
Yeah, I loved Ragnarok. Did you see Thor: The Dark World? We sat down and watched them all. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's,
I watched Dark World.
I gotta say, Dark World is for me is probably the worst one out of the Thor movies. I did like Love and Thunder. We talked about that. But I do understand, and in my review, I talked about it, that I think it just swung too far to the silly, whereas
Mhm.
Ragnarok had like a good base, like it was kind of like very even and balanced with the drama and the comedy throughout.
Mhm.
So but it was overall where Phase 4 went, I wasn't overly excited like I was in the past, and I feel like I should have been, considering they were putting out more and more shows and things like that. But it really is. I feel like I hit a fatigued with it. So how do you feel about where the MCU could be going and everything they're saying? I know you didn't read the article, but it's sort of been talked about with the MCU, and insiders have kind of let loose, some information about how the planning has been going, and that they're going to try and slow down more because they were just putting too much out, and it was suffering because they never had one showrunner. Now they're going to have new writers, things like that. But it's pretty rough. We're going to probably miss out on a lot of stuff. What's the next project you're excited to see come out in the MCU?
Probably Armor Wars or Secret Wars, one of the two, whichever comes out first.
What do you think about Kang so far?
I didn't love Kang as a whole. Like I liked He Who Remains, but I feel like they could have done so much more with it.
Yeah, so my biggest issue with that is I think they introduced him at the wrong time. I don't think it should have been He Who Remains. I think he should have been introduced earlier, personally, as Kang. as a version of Kang that gets beaten. You know, maybe sort of like Quantumania. I did another one with Quantumania too, and I want to ask your opinion on that. But just to give mine real quick, again, I did the whole review, but it was another one that I didn't mind, but as an MCU movie, it had its problems. But as an overall like sci-fi adventure movie, I was like, it's fun. It's definitely a fun movie. It's just that you are a part of something bigger, and that part of it felt uneven, if that makes sense. What did you think of
Yeah.
Quantumania?
I like Quantumania. It made me think it was just a once-off movie, or like
Mhm.
it wasn't part of a whole universe. It was just that series.
Yeah,
Really, is
I
what it
see
made
that.
me feel like.
Yeah, and that was my thing. Was a lot of people didn't really like that, like the ants and um, all of these different smaller characters took out Kang, which is supposed to be your big bad. I didn't mind it as much. I think a lot of people really harped on that a bit because they were just like, why is Ant-Man basically beating Kang? He's supposed to be all powerful. And he is. He was a very powerful being. I think, we got to stop selling Ant-Man short, you know, especially when you have the whole team there. I mean, the collective IQs in that room, Scott Lang not withstanding, um, were huge. And they can think their way out. They can figure their way out of this. My biggest issue with Quantumania and the whole Kang thing, I really like Jonathan Majors Kang in that movie. I thought he did a good job. The fact that we are so hard on the fact that our first introduction to Kang was beaten by Ant-Man, a lot of people don't like. That's why I think like if he was introduced earlier at a different time, maybe just a different variant who doesn't want to be Kang, or or just a villain. But I want to think of these different variants as maybe not all of them are as powerful as the most powerful versions, right? So some are going to lose. You're going to have to lose, right? The whole court of Kangs is going to have to go down eventually if we're going to tell this story. Now,
Mhm.
they are talking about um, going down and changing things up and maybe moving away from Kang. I have reason to believe that they are not going to. I'm not going to talk about too much here, but that they're going to stick with Kang. I don't know if they're going to recast him or not. They're going to stick with Kang, but I don't know how far they're going to go with Kang, or what villain would be put in place. There's been talk about Doctor Doom, and so what I wanted to do tonight was talk about what I'd like to see happen going forth in the MCU in the bigger picture side of things. I'm not going to get into every movie, every character, things like that. We could talk about some of them coming up and things like that. But overall, to me, if you're going to fix what's going on in the MCU, right?
Mhm.
We have Kang. He's there. Now, I don't, with the Jonathan Major thing, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're holding on. I don't, he hasn't been found guilty or anything yet. So, like, I get not one, and they have a lot kind of riding on him being Kang. They went all in on him. So, if they do end up recasting, I think they should keep Kang. But I think you should rewrite Kang. Right? Now that the Kang Dynasty they got rid of the writer and it's lost its director, change it up. And now they're going to have the Kang Dynasty lead into Secret Wars, and Fantastic Four will be coming out as well. I am super excited for it. Here's what I think should go on. We have to get the Kang Dynasty, right? Kang Dynasty, that's what we should be aiming for. So everything should now be coming together to get to that. And that's what I think they're going to do. They're going to put this together, but we don't have a Fantastic Four yet. We don't have a Doctor Doom. I do think that we should transition to Doctor Doom being the big bad. So my feelings on it are go with Kang. Kang is this force they have to try and stop. So, and what I think would be fun is if you got, because we know Loki and we know Mobius are going to be back. They're coming back in Deadpool 3. So I'm wondering if they're going to be back in more ways, in more places. And I do think that Loki, with the ending now and him being the god of stories and him running the sacred timeline, once we defeat Kang, I think he's fine. He can be free, and that's what we want for Loki, right? But that's got to
Mhm.
happen in the Kang Dynasty. So to get there, what I think we should do is, what I think they should do is, if they want to listen or not, I don't care, but is go and use Jonathan Majors or whoever, if you recast or whatever you do, Kang in general. I'm just going to use Kang from this point on. You're going to use Kang. He's the big bad. He's the force to be reckoned with. We keep that up. Each one that we pass now, that we've seen weaker Kangs, because let's face facts, Victor Timely, who's a weak variant of Kang. Even the Kang in Ant-Man Quantumania, I'm considering him a weaker version, right? Because he was beaten by, essentially Ant-Man and the Wasp versus being beaten by like the Hulk or something like that. So with going in that direction, we'd make him worse and worse as we go. More like visceral, just really show the terribleness as we go on that Kang is turning into. So when we get to the Kang Dynasty, it's all in. But I think they should make it where they had a time heist in Endgame. I think they should make the Kang Dynasty a multiverse heist. Maybe get Owatu in there, right? They have to get it together. That team has to get together while the other heroes are battling Kangs who are trying to take over throughout the multiverse. Loki's gonna team up with Owatu in this sense. Like they're all coming together to go and defeat like Prime Kang, like go back and try and find this thing that will stop them. As we go on, right? They defeat Kang. They find out that they have to what do you call it? They have to go and meet with Doctor Doom. Now we've never met Doctor Doom before, and he's on Earth Prime, so he's gonna. They're told they have to go meet with him, Victor Von Doom. He's one of the greatest minds, and he can help with this whole thing. They go, they meet with him. He teams up with them. At the end of the movie, they defeat Kang with the help of Doctor Doom, and he turns on him. He through it. He maybe gets the gauntlet, right? And he turns on him and changes it to Battle World. So we get Secret Wars 1 and Secret Wars 2 essentially sort of together, where you're going to have the actual battles like in the first one, but it is kind of like everything is sort of segregated. Like you have these worlds here, these worlds here, these worlds here, and everybody has to come together to stop Doom in Secret Wars. But I think Secret Wars should be a two-parter, and here is why.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get to the next movie, and I think that should be Fantastic Four, and it should take place before the Kang Dynasty. And the reason being is because before they didn't get their powers yet. Now they're going on a journey. Victor Von Doom's with them, right? Now in the comics and in the older movies, the Fantastic Four get their powers in space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not so here. In the 2015 remake, they did it listen, I'm not saying anybody should watch that. It's terrible. But in a 2015 remake, they did it in a different dimension. And I do think they should hold on to that here. Because that we can even like introduce Dimension X would be great. So I think we should do that here, where in the Fantastic Four movie, there's scientists who are studying the multiverse. No powers. Doctor Doom is not Doctor Doom yet. He's a friend of Reed Richards, like kind of like a rival friend. They decide to go find it. They travel the multiverse. When they do, they all get powers. They get trapped. Doom leaves them there. To get out. Like he leaves them there. You don't know what's going on. Comes back to the sacred timeline where he's from. And there's the Fantastic Four, right? And you can even do it where they're from another dimension or another multiverse, and do it that way. So that way, that's why they've never been around here. And that will still play into what my idea is. So now they're trapped. Their whole movie is them in a fish out of water world where they now have powers. They have to figure out how to work together in this world. There's a big bad there they have to stop now that they have powers to help people. So they have to learn how to do it, become more of a family while doing it because they have to rely on each other. And you have this whole big buildup that gets to, by the end of the movie, Reed Richards finds a way to get back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we see. Is like, I found the way. Then, end of the movie. Get to Secret Wars Part 1. Secret Wars Part 1, Doom is running the show. He's running Battle World. He has all of his lands kind of doing his thing, and he makes them fight. He's doing, he wants that, he essentially becomes like sort of like the Beyonder in this. And he's, you know, he's God Doom at this point because he's powerful. He's got everything he needs. And now you get into it. You can introduce all different types of characters. You can bring in the Fantastic Four from the new Fantastic Four. You can bring in the old one. You can bring in the old Spider-Man, everything. And now you have these teams come together to try and stop Doom. And then the first movie, I think, should end with the Fantastic Four coming back in. And there's word of it. And Doom is on the hunt for him. So the villains are on the hunt for in Secret Wars for them, or because they'll get rewarded. And the heroes are on the hunt to try and stop him because they know Reed Richards knows how to stop Doom or can stop Doom. Mm-hmm. It ends with them getting to them. Fantastic Four is separated. Couple are taken. Maybe the Thing. Ben is with the hero side, and Johnny Storm's with the hero side. I want to leave Mr. Fantastic for dead and take Sue Storm. And now he's like lost. They have to go and try and find him, and he wants to save Sue. That's how it ends. Get to the second one, right? That's not exactly how it ends, but like it ends on a downer. You have to end on a downer, right? Just like they did Infinity War. So it's, you know, everything's down. The chips are down. The villains are winning. You know, the heroes can't seem to get it together because the X-Men don't trust the Avengers. The Avengers don't trust them. All the other separate heroes don't trust them, you know. So it's becoming a big problem. We need to have somebody step up as a leader, right? And really inspire them to come back. Now, I know in your mind you're thinking, I'm going to get, what am I going to do? What MCU wants to do and bring back Iron Man? No. Of course not. It has to be maybe Bucky and Sam as, you know, Captain America, trying to lead it, but they can't make it work. So they call in a favor. Old man Steve Rogers comes back and leads them with Nick Fury and finally get the team together to get a plan to go and stop Doom. And that's the second movie. That is where, and then you go into the next phase. What do you think of my idea for it?
I like it.
Be honest. Like, if you don't like it, I don't mind.
I like it. I do have a little bit of tweaks. I think instead of having Old Man Steve and Nick Fury, I think maybe you do like kind of like a council thing, or have Reed Richards lead it, or maybe like the Spider-Man.
I gotta disagree. I think they should each be leaders of their teams. Spider-Man, because they talked about maybe Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine being leaders in it. But I think Old Man Steve in that second movie, when they can't all come together, you know, because Reed Richards is the leader of the Fantastic Four, but in the comics, he's not really a guy who wants to lead like all of these heroes. He's sort of for himself. And I think his desperation of trying to save Sue, the woman he loves, is really his, like, so now he's all about that. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think, and in my opinion, and again, please keep continuing what you're saying, but that's why I said bring in Old Man Steve, because Old Man Steve is still, he was Captain America, and he comes in, and there you go. He knows how to lead the team. He knows how to inspire and bring everybody together. I'm not saying he's going to fight. You know, maybe he and, you know, Nick Fury are on a helicarrier leading the team, but like, I think he needs to be the one to bring everybody together. Mm-hmm. And really, and maybe even like pass the torch even more to Sam and be like, Captain America is here. This is your guy. Follow him, and he will take you to the right place. You know? But what do you think? Or he could even hand that off to Bucky That would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But what were you thinking about not Old Man Steve?
So you don't have Old Man Steve. You have Reed Richards leading it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get I forget what he was called. It was like the Maker, I believe, the alternate Reed Richards.
Yeah, very evil.
You have him join up, kind of like they did in the actual Secret Wars.
Yeah, too.
And yeah, and at the end, like you have them fight at the end in the universe. I can't remember what the other guy's name, the Human Bomb.
The Human Bomb.
No, that's not his name, but like he was the bomb who like would, if he gets set off, Secret Wars would, Battleworld would die.
Oh, I can't think of the name, but I see what you're saying. I don't want to get too close to that though. I think we should lean more towards Secret Wars 1, personally, where they're battling each other, trying to take out Doom so they can get home, so they can fix things. What I'd really like this to end off being is no more multiverse after this. It sets Loki free. He's done. He doesn't have to do anything. There is no more multiverse. It is one timeline, and everyone lives in it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone at the end of these movies is there. So Miles Morales can be in. And, so that you can let go of those other Spider-Men after that. And I think that would be a cool closing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I see what you're saying. Maker is a cool character, but I think this is too early to introduce Maker.
Yeah, it is. It would be too early for Reed Richards.
It would be very cool to have Maker have another version of Reed Richards. You can maybe Ian Gruffel. He's a little older now, but he could play an older Maker going forward. You can even have Pedro Pascal, who signed on to play Reed Richards, do a dual role, or something, or you can get John Krasinski.
Oh, yeah,
bring him in. He could play the Maker, and then going forward in Fantastic Four movies, the Maker's an issue.
Yeah, that would.
But I think they should go with Galactus after this.
Mm-hmm. Galactus. Maybe have some future foundation somewhere in that.
Well, I think we need to get rid of. We need to not do the cosmic movies until after Secret Wars. I think we need to take a rest because that was a beautiful ending to Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's take a break from it. We don't need another Guardians right now. I don't think we need another Thor movie where it's out in the cosmos. I don't think we need another Eternals movie right now. And I don't think anybody really cares what happened with the Celestial when he grabbed them at the end. So let's save the Celestials for phase 6 or whatever after Secret Wars. Tell this multiversal story, get rid of it, and then maybe make it bigger because Galactus is coming. Maybe now it's more of a Cosmos type of movie.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Something like that. And then it kind of broadens it a little bit. And you can introduce even more characters after that. But this was my fix. So what did you think?
I liked it. It was a really good fix. I think that works really well. I feel like if they did that, it would be back to the old Marvel.
Yeah, it would be. And then I think that's when I was coming up with this. Like I was, it was just me playing with my imagination, just thinking about it. And I think when I thought that was like my goal was like, how do we get this back to the feeling of what the MCU was? And this could be an interesting one to do it. But I appreciate you joining in tonight, man. And thank you for that feedback. I really do. And I want to thank all of you for watching. I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. What did you think? Did you think the MCU fix was good? Sound off. Let me know in the comments. Or head over to our Snobs Nation Discord or our Facebook group or both. Join up. Talk to us there. But you got to hit like, you got to hit subscribe, and you got to hit that bell so you know when more live events or shows that we have going on are coming out as well. I want to thank our sponsors of this show, StubHub. Thank you guys so much. Get your tickets on StubHub, everybody. Go to the venues, go to the concerts, go to the games, things like that. StubHub has never steered me wrong. I get my tickets on there. I just got some tickets for a concert last night, going in August. I cannot wait. It's going to be a ton of fun. But yeah, make sure to check out in the affiliate link down below, StubHub. And if you are a fan of the MCU, maybe check out the Entertainment Earth affiliate link too. Go get those collectibles. As you can see, I am no stranger to collectibles. So thank you guys so much for joining in. I truly appreciate you. If you guys like these shows and more, maybe think about joining up on our Patreon. We do have a free tier, and we have other tiers with great perks, shows, exclusives, everything else as well. We'd love to have you be a part of it. Thank you so much. All right. I am Mick Manhattan. I want to thank my guest and my partner from Warp Factor Fiction, at Star Trek Rewatch podcast. Tommy, thank you so much for coming on and being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you a lot for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you can come on, man, and be a part of it. But thank you guys again for joining in. Please let me know what you think of the fix. Remember, until next time, be kind, stay classy, take care of yourselves because that's important. And I will talk to you very, very soon. I missed it. I missed the cue. Bye.